got a question from Mike. Anyone else feel splurging on a multi-channel amp and then getting just a processor instead of an AV receiver the way to go? Unless you want to buy a new AVR every other year. You're always behind.
I don't think you need to buy an AVR every other year. A lot of the changes are mostly like video stuff, right, Jonna?
Yeah, so when something changes video-wise, then you're going to think about it. But at the same time, now we have eARC. And if you have a TV that's eARC is functionally working and you have a new device that your like the video part doesn't mesh with your AV receiver, boom, stick it directly to the TV. Obviously, I would assume you have a new TV that can handle all the new fancy stuff. And then it eARCs the audio over. But then there are issues. Some people are getting like, AV sync issues when they're running that kind of a system. But for the most part, I mean, AV receivers, I'd say 5 years. 5 years, maybe 6. And then it depends on where you are. Like, a lot of people started off with an Atmos setup, and you can get an Atmos receiver for like $400, which is not that expensive. Yeah. But when you want to get something that's 9-channel, now you got to like shell out some cash, and you're like getting to like minimum, I think, what, $1,300 now with all the shipping delays. It was like $1,000 before, but now a 9-channel receiver is going to cost you that much. So when you're talking about now, I know, Mike, I have external amplifiers that I'm running with an AV receiver only because I make sure the AV receivers I buy have pre-outs, right? And since I'm already there, I have 10 channels. I have 2 5-channel amplifiers, so 5 + 5, 10. I can run 10 speakers. Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying a pre-pro. So, but for someone to just jump into it, that's a lot of dough.
That's they're more expensive, right? So pre-pros are typically more expensive. Now, I don't know, a lot of the Denon Marantz stuff, the new stuff, has that dedicated preamp mode, which turns off or disconnects the other amplifiers. So it's kind of getting that. Yeah. You're kind of getting that. I mean, they are RCA only, so if you're adamant about using XLR,
right,
and you got to go pre-pro. But I think maybe why this question's a little more interesting now is because there are pre-pros that are that $999 price range.
Yep.
Tone Winner, that one that we can never say. The Emotiva has one. Now, here's the downside, I guess, if you were to ask me, is they don't have Oro, which for me, I need that. I want that.
It's a deal breaker. Yeah.
But I don't know how good their room correction is. So that's a huge part for me, right? Yeah. Because to me, that's really what can get your speakers, your sound to a different level, is having not the automatic one needs to be the best. If you know what you're doing, if you're buying a pre-pro, maybe you should learn how to do some manual calibration. But I don't know how capable they are at, being able to do what you want to do. I don't know if they have parametric EQ and all that. So that's the thing you have to look out for. I haven't tested any of those other ones. Maybe they have great PEQ settings. But those are the things I'd worry about. Is if you need auto calibration, I don't know if they're any good. If you want to do manual calibration, I don't know what they can do. And they don't have Oro. So
correct. So you would have to step up to something like this, Marantz AV7706, but this thing's retails for like $3,000.
Yeah.
It's not a cheap situation. I'm gonna go put this down before.
I think what I would be worried about also is a lot of these big companies with tons of money are already having issues with HDMI. I'd kind of I don't know how those other smaller companies can handle those things, right? If the big companies are having issues,
I
don't know.
Yeah.